You know, I wasn't even gonna come back into this space and make videos. That's how I was feeling. And it's probably been almost 35, 40 days. It's definitely been over a month since I even made a video. And I thought most people would abandon this channel, but you didn't. And that's probably about 75% of why I'm about to make this video now, because everything fell apart. And I'm still here. And I'm still smiling. And I still love the Lord. I got no family. I got no friends. What's the craziest thing is my landlord is probably my best friend and he doesn't even realize it. And I'm so proud of him for starting his own YouTube channel and doing what he wants to do. He doesn't really know about this channel. He just knows that I do make content from time to time. But I've hit that pause button because my life fell apart. And it was one thing after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other. First I got suspended for a week. I came back to work. And then by the end of that week, I was fired. And no one at my job could even believe it. Now let's address the elephant in the room. I told y'all, if you've been following this channel, I was going to chop everything and chop my beard. My hair wasn't long enough to donate it to kids with cancer. But I got so fed up the way that I was feeling. And I felt like it was time for a new beginning. Some people like me with the hair. Some people like me with the beard, without the beard. I'm not sure what I want to do, but I'm not out to please anybody. I'm not out to gain anyone's specific. I'm not out to please anybody. That's all I can say, man. But I lost it all. And I'm still here. And before I get into what I want to talk about, because there's so much I need to talk about, I can't fit it into one video, but I haven't made a video in almost 40 days. So I felt like I needed to make this right now. And before I even get into this intro, man, the few people that did reach out to me, that prayed for me, that supported me, y'all don't know how much that means to me. Ayana, much love. Brooklyn, girl, much love. Shakinta, girl, much love. To my boy who's been there since day one, man, that goes without saying. You know who you are. My dude, TV Blue, much love, man. And if I missed anyone else, man, I'm sorry. I'm not good at this. I just pick up the phone and I shoot, man. This is Jared, the 20-year recovering sex addict, 20-year recovering abusive sex addict. No filters, no edits, no redos. The channel that is not in YouTube's algorithm, the channel that YouTube loves to hate, the channel that YouTube does not support at all. Oh man, I don't know if I should change my name or not, but I know since I have sex addict in the name, it doesn't get promoted like that. And there's so much stuff out here. Man, when you're sitting at home and you take a look at what's going on in the world, I feel like we've just been in the Matrix since 2020, since COVID. It's nothing but bad news. It's nothing but just turmoil. It's nothing but negativity. You got USA versus China. You got the drones. Now you got the situation with the Strait of Hormuz. Like, you know, at what point do you realize that you're just living to pay bills and you can't even enjoy life? Like, who decided that for us? Who decided that this is the way that you have to live? If you give everybody so much on their plate that you have nothing to look forward to except another day, just to struggle, just to pay bills, just to do it all again in 30 days, what is the point? If there's one thing that I realized, losing it all, and knowing that I've been in this position, but before when I was in this position, not everybody was feeling the hardship that I am, and now it's widespread. Now you got people living out of storage units. Now you got people living out of their cars. Let me turn this down, man. Now you got people not knowing where their next meal, where their next dollar is even going to come from, how to even survive. But it's so widespread, something's got to give, right? I didn't make this channel to make money. I made this channel to tell my story. And if it reaches just one person, and if it makes a difference in just one person's life, then I've done my job. I'm not going to get into the reasons why I lost my job, but I will give a little bit of background as far as what led up to it. And I knew that it was coming. First, the longest tenured driver at my job got fired for having a horrible accident. And he was probably the best worker that the job had, hands down. I'm not going to say your name, but he was in an accident on a highway where he was looking on his cell phone and caused a 4 or 5 car collision, even though he had been with the job for several years. And he was a stand-up guy, and he lost it just like that. Then my project manager, he basically got fired. He didn't get fired, but they transferred him, and it wasn't his decision. And then they made him hire somebody. They hired someone, and he was training his replacement who didn't even have a background in the field. And I tried to explain to people, I said, listen, when something like this happens, there's no one to have our back now. And to put a little bit more clarification behind it, the owner had retired after about 25, 30 years, and new people came on who didn't care about longevity, didn't care about seniority, didn't care about what had happened prior. I said, listen, changes are coming, and I don't think y'all are even aware of it. So between that driver being let go, my project manager being let go, and then I got let go. And the craziest thing about it is what led up to that, my car had broken down 2 to 3 times prior to me getting fired. My back was giving me issues. I took time off for that. I took time off when that big snowstorm hit. I took time off because I had a dental emergency. And then I'm struggling to get to the job because my car needs to get fixed. But I work so many hours. I'm stuck in that truck so long. I don't even have time to get my car fixed because every place on the weekend is either closed or closed. It's either closed on Saturdays and Sundays, or they close at 1 o'clock. And even if I get it down there, am I even going to have the time to have the car so I could be ready for work on Monday morning? So the irony is, if I didn't lose my job then, I would have lost my job for not being able to get to work. And those of you that have been following me, last year I slept in my car almost 6 months straight because a big sinkhole opened up and it prevented me from getting home. And my job is located in another state from where I live. But I told people, you know, when they addressed that situation, like, Jared, are you sure you want to move to the country? Sure you want to move to the mountains? I said, listen, if something happens with this job, the amount of money I make in overtime, that unemployment check will be able to pay my rent if everything went belly up. If I stay in this state and pay these prices, even though my check is decent, if something should happen, how am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to pay my rent? And that situation showed itself. I went through so much, man. It took me 25 days just to have an examiner, just to have someone from unemployment even look at my claim. Do you know what I was going through during that time? I'm literally at a standstill. My car, even though it drives, it needs to get fixed. The money I do have, I need to pay bills. I don't necessarily want to fix the car right off the bat because I don't know what's going on with unemployment. So I'm out here applying to jobs, doing whatever I can. And then finally I got my money, but it was over 30 days. So I was almost about to go back to work. And then when I'm crunching the numbers, I realized that a 40-hour work week at the job that I applied to is paying me $24 more a week than if I was just on unemployment. And then I realized if you're on unemployment and you take a job and the job doesn't suit you, the job isn't what you thought it was. The job requires more than what was explained to you in the meetings, in the interview, whatever it is. Should you just go to work one day, you lose your benefits. So I just worked the last several years, busting my behind, making 40, making overtime, being stuck in this truck, doing whatever I can, living for God, working out, no drinking, no smoking, no whatever. I started smoking cigarettes again. I'm not even going to lie. When I was waiting to see what was going to happen, I swear to God, the best part of my day was going to sleep because I'm at such a standstill and I don't know what to do. And the only thing I know is hard work and hardship. So something's got to give. And like I said, the only thing that I realized at 44 years old, some people say I don't look like I'm 44. I appreciate it. I'm not out to please anybody. I'm not out to come across and be something that I'm not. This is who I am. And I lay it all out for y'all. And I don't even want to make this too long because I got so much I need to talk about. The cornerstone of my channel is living for something greater than your own self-gratification. And the irony is, I don't want to talk too long. The irony is, when I started this job, I'm fresh off of being homeless, living out of my car. For the first 6 to 8 months, I didn't talk to anybody. And people probably thought something was wrong with me. But with everything that happened, unless you've been through it, it's hard for me to really get this point across. Your job don't care about you. The people at your job, your coworkers, those are not your friends. It's almost no different than school. 90% of the people that you interact with them because the scheduling is set up as such. But as soon as that scheduling change, as soon as that hardship is at your doorstep and you're not under that umbrella, you're going to see just who's there for you. And it's not a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's not a woe is me. It's not a sob story. Just everything that I say is rooted in reality. So I thought to myself, and I'm asking God, I did everything right. See, life doesn't owe you an explanation. To all the young men and young women out there, realize that. Don't be bitter over your circumstances. Because I learned that the hard way. My mother died. I lost all my family in my 20s. I'm 44 years old. I've been at this so freaking long. I faced times where I didn't know where my next dollar and my next meal was coming from at least 3 to 4 times in the last 6 years. But I'm not bitter about it. My mother died of colon cancer in 2008. She didn't say anything. My grandmother died right after my mom. I lost everybody in my family had some tragic ending. So you sit back and you think to yourself, what was the point? The point is to maximize the time that you do have. Whatever which way that fits the narrative in your life, you got to go for it. You got to do it. Because if you just work every single week and you just wait for the weekend to maybe smoke a blunt, to have a drink, to be intimate, to wait for that paycheck to clear, look at the world that we're living in. Most of these jobs won't even be here in years. What do you tell young people, young men right now, coming of age, 18 to 25, under 30? You're probably never going to own anything. You'll never have a house. Having kids is free, but who can afford it? When you make life so hard to live that the only thing that you're living for is paying bills, you realize just how evil and how much this system is broken. And it's for people like myself to speak out about it. That's why I don't blame the young men and young women that are out here that may be doing things that we don't agree with. Well, they're facing times that no one has seen before. And that's why I speak out about it. I didn't make a video over the last month because I was battling depression. I don't want to sit up here and make a sob story. And I also don't make a video until the inspiration hits. And the inspiration did not hit until today. So I sit back and I think to myself, what is God trying to tell me? Because for days you think about this over and over, this loop of everything that went wrong. And when I tell you everything went wrong, everything went wrong. So the only thing that I know is that God didn't want me at this job anymore because I don't know what I did to deserve this. But just because you're a good person, just because you do everything right, doesn't mean life will go right too. Things will happen. Every day that you wake up, right, your life goes from A to B to C and so on. But you're going to have a day where you wake up one day, your life's going to go from A to B to X. Everything is going to go haywire. And life doesn't owe you an explanation. But trust and believe, if it hasn't been at your doorstep yet, it's coming. If you're lucky, it only happens 1 or 2 times in your life. Well, it's happened several in mine. And life can beat you down, just like it beat me down. But I'm still thankful. I'm still grateful for everything that the Lord has given me. Because if there's one thing I do know, it's that without the Most High in my corner, I would have been dead or in jail a long time ago. And I'm so thankful I've made it to this point. And if I have, I must be here for a reason. I'm not going to live on my knees for anybody. And at 44 years old, I sit there and tell you that life doesn't owe you an explanation. It really doesn't. I want to take this time. I've been thinking about going back, getting certified, learning the trade, doing something that will enrich my life that people will need, regardless of where this AI goes. But I've never had an opportunity or a chance to pursue those things because I've always been in such dire straits and just struggling, just maintaining. And when I try to tell people at my job, do you know how hard it is when everything is on you? It's like a house of cards. One little thing goes wrong and it's over. Nobody should live like that. But thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people are looking at it and seeing it right now because you see the way the world is going. Don't be bitter about it. Be thankful, be mindful. But just know that the world doesn't owe you an explanation. I applaud the young men and young women out here trying to find a way outside the box. I'm trying to do that too at 40 something years old. I don't know how much time I have left in this world, but I know you got to stand for something. And when I got to the point where the best part of my day was going to sleep and not thinking about anything, because I couldn't take the fact that I did everything right and still find myself in this position, I actually went to bed and I wasn't angry. I wasn't sad. I didn't cry. I just said, if God, if this is what it is, then I'm okay with not being here. And this is not a death wish. This is not wanting to commit the S word. Be careful of what you say on YouTube. It's just that everything that I thought about and I talked to God about, I hadn't felt like that in such a long time. You know, when I first went through all of my mishaps and all my obstacles, I felt like, for the things that I've done and the women that I've hurt and the decisions that I made that affected people, where I wasn't a man, I wasn't an adult, maybe I had to pay for those. Maybe that's just what had to happen. But I look back on the last several years and I'm like, what more do y'all want from me? What more? There's nothing more I can do. Working out. Oh, Jerry, you need to work out. You need to pray. I do all that already. So if you're doing everything right and stuff's still going wrong, you can analyze that till kingdom come and still not come up with the answers. But life doesn't owe you any answers, man. It just is what it is. But I think maybe I'm going to take this time to go as hard as I can on this channel, to develop the channel, to speak out, to live my life, to do what I want to do. And whatever happens, happens. Because the one thing I did learn is you can do everything right. Everything right. And still everything you can wake up one day and everything goes wrong. It is what it is. But I keep on smiling. I keep on praying. I'm gonna keep living my life. And however long I have in this world is however long I have in this world. But I've already lost everything, everyone, all my family, my kids, all that. Can't hurt me. This is Jared, the 20-year recovering sex addict. 20-year recovering abusive sex addict. No filters, no edits, no redos. You know my name. You know my motto. Live for something greater than one's own self-gratification, man. I love y'all. I really do. I'm out.